Hey Shalloners, and hey Beliebers, hey Baldwiners, and hey Cheerios. Today, we're going to talk about some red flags I heard in Justin Bieber and Ed Sheeran's brand new song just dropped called I Don't Care. And moreover, lessons that we can learn from Justin's seemingly really in trouble marriage to Hailey Baldwin that we can take into our own lives and get better from it, right? So if you're new here, welcome. I'm Shallon Lester. My hair usually isn't wet, but I'm in Florida and you know what? We're just going with it, okay? This isn't the dry hair channel. It's an advice channel. We're just going with it. And just want to let you guys know that if you want to chit chat privately with me, if you have a love question of your own, if you want some more inside info into the lives of celebrities and stuff, a little bit of like one-on-one help, find me on the Instant Go app. My username is ShallonXO and click chat to get connected right away. And follow me on Insta and Snapchat and Twitter at ShallonXO and click like and subscribe for new videos every Friday and whenever celebrity news breaks. So this song, it's a bop. Like, it's great. I can't sample it here because I don't have the rights to it. That's like kind of how that works. I'm not just like, and I won't sing it for you, but it is really good. But I was looking at the lyrics and I'm like, this is a red flag fiesta in terms of Justin and Hailey's relationship. Let me read you Justin's part. And yes, he wrote these lyrics himself. Once I read them to you, you're going to be like, that maybe isn't a good thing. This is verse 2. So the whole song is about being at a party you don't want to be at and just kind of wishing you were with your girlfriend, but then you realize she's there and so you have your own little world and you're happy together. It's not exactly, Aristotle, but... We at a party we don't want to be at, trying to talk, but we can't hear ourselves. Press your lips, I'd rather kiss them right back. With all these people around, I'm crippled with anxiety. Red flag number 1, we'll get to that. But I'm told it's where we're supposed to be. You know what? It's kind of crazy because I really don't mind. And you make it better like that. Okay, first of all, these lyrics are like deeply terrible. Like, do they even rhyme? I can't even tell. They're like awful. Like, Justin, it took you a year to like scrawl this down. So why is this so red flaggy, right? Well, to understand, we got to go to the Met Gala. Hailey, to me, was like the queen of the Met Gala. I saw her and I was like, oh, she looked like this beautiful Barbie come to life. I love her. I love her. I love her. I love her. And it's funny, like people will say mean things to me online. I'm sure I'll get some here in the comments. And it's like, whenever I feel like really upset about it, because it is upsetting because it's mean, I'm like, what? I'm going to go to Hailey's page and look at her comments because who could ever say something bad about her? And people like destroy her. One guy's like, you look pretty good for 40. Can you imagine? She's one of the most beautiful women in the world. It's insane. Anyway, though, notice how she was at the Met Gala without Justin. That wasn't a coincidence. That wasn't him not wanting to go. He wasn't invited. The Met Gala works like that. It's like it's not just like a regular party or prom or whatever where you can just bring whoever you want to. It has to be approved, certainly if it's another celebrity. And Justin like dug his own grave with Anna Wintour and Vogue and the Met Gala several years ago. So the last time he went, he was like a fucking nightmare. He like had his car, I think he had his driver pull up and like basically block traffic for I think an hour or something. In New York City, to block traffic for 30 seconds while you let like a crippled person out of an Uber is like catastrophic and people hate you. To do it for an hour is catastrophic not only to New York City traffic, but to the Met Gala. Like it actually works in a very specific order because like you can't have hundreds of cars piled up on the New York City streets with like fans on one side. Like, so it has to work kind of like clockwork in terms of arrivals. Anyway, Anna Wintour was like furious and she's like, he is never coming again. I don't care if he was on the cover. He's not invited. That's not good. So Justin, from what I've heard, fully expected Hailey to not go either. It's like, well, I can't go, so you can't go. And I would have assumed that she wouldn't because she's very like wifely like that. I feel like her idea of marriage is very much like love, honor, and obey. Spoiler alert, to the surprise of no one, I do not share those feelings about marriage or any kind of relationship. But she was like, no, I'm going. She really stepped up into her own kind of stratosphere of celebrity when she went. You know what I mean? Like to me, she was kind of the queen of the Met Gala. Kylie looked like she got her outfit at Party City. Kendall looked like some Barbie I had. There was actually like a Cher Barbie, which I didn't mind actually. But like Hailey to me stood out. And I think Justin had a real problem with that. Like that was almost like her defying him. And you know what? Maybe none of this is true. Maybe he's like, you go, have a good time. Maybe he was invited. He wasn't. But like, from outside appearances, let's say that that's what's going on, because that is a situation and the scenario we're going to learn from, okay? And this song that he did is very emblematic of that. And it echoes that sentiment of like, I need you. Justin needs his wife. I need you. And how dare you go do your own thing? You exist for me. You exist to make me feel better. Your role is to complete me, is to prop me up, to make me okay, and to ameliorate everything that's wrong with me. You're a fixer. Now, to a degree, yes, that's what we all want from our partners. And we should have someone who is listening to us and who supports us, of course. But a person, you can't like, you hear about people, it's like baby to save the marriage. A baby cannot be born into this world with that kind of agenda on their shoulders. And you can't marry someone and foist that kind of agenda on them either. You can't have that in a relationship of any kind. You can't have that in a friendship. I know that you guys have all had friendships where it was like, I feel like I'm just her therapist. She just like, blah, blah, blah. Never asks how I am, never is there for me. You have coworkers like that. I do all of their work and they expect me to teach them everything and they just act like they don't know. It's a one-sided, usy relationship. And that isn't sustainable. I mean, it is for the person doing the using. It's freaking great. Who doesn't want that? We all want someone to kind of play that role. Like deep down, it's like, yeah, I just want someone to sort of be like, sounds weird. It's like, yeah, like be dad in the relationship. Like do everything for me. Like make sure I'm okay. Love me unconditionally. And then like, I just kind of want to go doing whatever I want. Like that's just not how anything works though. Not anything healthy anyway. You know what I mean? So Justin writing this song that echoes that exact sentiment. I'd rather kiss you. There's all these people around. I'm crippled with anxiety. It's kind of a downer of a lyric for a summer bop, And he just won't shut up about it. I'm told this is where we're supposed to be. Maybe that's where Hailey wants to be. Maybe Hailey wants to be at these industry parties. Maybe she wants to be on the red carpet. She's young. She is taking off. Her star is rising. Like Justin has already went through that. And I said before that the red flags in their relationship comes down a lot to life arenas. And I use the term life arenas to talk about like older guys with younger girls, because like if you're 19, you're dating a 25-year-old guy, like the number of years on paper isn't so intense. Like my boyfriend and I have a way bigger, year differential than that, but it's about life arenas. A 25-year-old should not feel like he's in the same life arena as someone who just graduated from high school. You know what I mean? Like those are two separate, not that there's one person's immature, like the 19-year-old's not the immature one. It's a 25-year-old who can't compete, but that's off topic. So life arenas in this scenario is Justin has already gone through the fame. He's been there, he's done that, he's crippled with anxiety. He wants to stay home and make out. Hailey is just coming into her own. And like, what did he expect? He started dating a famous person, knowing she was only going to get more famous by dating him. So it's like, you can't be mad at the scenario you directly helped to create. You know what I mean? And then you can't make her feel guilty that she's choosing this scenario you helped build over the scenario that he himself helped build, which was his own drug use, his own womanizing, his own bad boy behavior, his arrest, his refusal to do cognitive therapy. That's not Hailey's problem. Hailey does not exist to solve Justin's anxiety. I do not exist to solve my boyfriend's whatever. You do not exist to solve your best friend's problems, your mom's problems, your coworker's problems. That's not what any of us are here for. And the person who you have to kind of tell that to, they're not going to have a good reaction. They're going to make you feel guilty, or they're going to say that you're crazy or that you're betraying them or blah, 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 because they're going to press whatever button they think they can, because they know you and they probably know exactly what that button is, to get you to fall back in line. With Justin and Hailey, I bet that button is, you're not being a very good wife. This Bible verse, blah, 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 blah. Can we just stop basing all of our marriage advice on the Bible? It has some incredible stories, some incredible lessons for sure, but we don't need to maybe take it like verbatim. A lot has changed. Like, I feel like we can kind of update it a little bit, But I bet that's what he's pressing on, because Hailey watched that kind of dynamic growing up. You tend to date people who remind you of your most difficult parent. This is a fact. And Hailey's was by far and away her father. He's a drug addict or an alcoholic. tomato, tomato. In the 12 steps of sobriety, one of those people who uses the word sobriety like every other sentence, you're like, I don't care, dude. I don't care. But his mom, well, Hailey's mom also basically acted as her husband's mom, sticking with him, just this like long-suffering wife thing, like till death do us part. And that is what Hailey has been modeled. And so she sees that as normal. I don't know though, like a lot of things change, certainly from biblical times to now. A lot of things change generation to generation. And I think this is going to be a really hard thing for her to sustain. At some point, she is going to have to choose between what she wants and what her partner wants. And this is where we get into what we can all learn from that. If you get the sense deep down in your gut, or maybe like screaming loud because everyone's telling it to you, that like you have to somehow fix a guy. I'll tell you how that goes. Let me tell you how that goes. First of all, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You aren't Dr. Phil, the smartest man in America. I love Dr. Phil. Like, you can't fix someone else. Because have you ever watched Intervention? That show about drug addicts? It's fascinating. I watch it when I need to feel better about my life choices. But the big takeaway is like, you can't force someone to get better. They gotta want it. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him go on, whatever it is. What is it? Heroin addicts take? Methadone? You can't make him do that. So even if you could fix someone, they gotta want to do it themselves. And the idea of fixing it's such a misnomer anyway. It's like, Justin has anxiety. He's probably gonna have anxiety for the rest of his life. A big part of why he has anxiety is probably because he's done so many drugs. He's whacked out his serotonin. So he's kind of in a permanent state of being sad and having a hangover all the time. That's a miserable way to live. Like, people who do a lot of drugs is like people who eat a lot of bad food. It's like you think, this is never gonna catch up with me. And then one day, you're like, fuck. And then every day after that, you're still experiencing the after effects. It's like, you don't get out of that kind of chronic misuse of your body without a consequence. I'm not saying it's going to kill you, but like, you need to be aware of that. Like, all these people are like, Zans, I'm just going to take a bunch of Zan bars. Like, I'll see you in a few years, girl. Even just people who lay out in the sun. Like, I am quite old. I'm not. I'm not. But like, I look way better than a lot of girls my age because I stay out of the sun. Not what we're here to talk about. So if you think that like, if you're telling yourself like, I gotta fix him, I gotta help him, like, who is helping you? Who's helping you? Who's playing therapist for you? Is he dropping everything and orienting around you? If he is, you're in a weird codependent relationship. It's not healthy for either one of you to be the victim. Yes, of course, like that happens in relationships. You have a bad day, a crisis in his life. Yes, like that's the natural seesaw of relationships. But if it is a constant role cast of victim and savior, no. Because like I said, even if you could save him, let's pretend that you can. Let's pretend that you can, because girls have experienced this. I know. I've like worked with someone. I want to get you better and you're going to feel better. Blah, blah, blah. You know what a guy does at the end of that? Thanks. You really helped. We're breaking up though because I met someone else. Why does that happen? Because they have now associated their issue, their pain, their suffering, their whatever with you. You have become the hurt locker. Oh. Hurt locker is a term I give to people that we store like our hopes and our dreams and our hurts inside of, like it's people who represent something to us, whether it's popularity, rebirth, a new opportunity, higher self-esteem, whatever it is. You've now become their hurt locker. And guys have no problem shutting the door on a hurt locker and locking it and walking away. Because it's not sexy to look at someone and be reminded of like trauma and like get into this therapist role. It's not sexy. It's the antithesis of lust, right? You don't want to bone the sad sack. I don't, and vice versa. Like, it shouldn't work that way. So if you do fix him, he's going to be like, thanks, and move on with someone who's a completely fresh start. And you're going to be like, I wasted X amount of months or years or days or even hours helping someone. It's like, and now maybe you see why they were so effed up in the first place. Maybe they weren't exactly a victim of society. Maybe they had a pretty big hand in their own mess. Maybe they were actually the architect of their own misfortune. So bringing this back to Justin and Hailey, I look at these two and I'm like, they are dealing with some really heavy stuff. And at the same time, they're dealing with the most basic stuff, which is simply human identity. Justin has one identity and one lane that he wants to be in. Hailey is realizing that hers is not that same lane. Marriage and any relationship is logistics. If you are on the same page about something as simple as, do we like to be out at a party? You're in for a lot of really difficult conversations, a lot of impasses, and a lot of compromise. And the definition of compromise, you know what it is? Neither party gets what they want. So that life is really, really long when you're spending it like that. When one person is constantly trying to talk the other person out of something they organically want, who they organically are, or something they organically feel. And for what? Why? Why stay in a relationship that's like that? So I hope Hailey and Justin make it. I actually love them together. I mean, aesthetically. I think maybe they're just like not good for each other, but they are cute. Like when they're cute, they're so cute. And I'm like, oh. And I think that they're both like good people, but I just don't think that they're necessarily good people for each other. And that is what is so tragic about relationships sometimes. It's like you can love someone and you can want them, but it just doesn't fit. And life, everything is about a good fit, whether it's a job, a friendship, a city you live in, a pair of jeans. It's got to fit. If you guys have other questions, find me on the Instant Go app and want to chit chat privately. My username is ShallonXO and click chat to get connected. Find me on Insta and Twitter at ShallonXO. And if you want to hear more celebrity topics, leave it in the comments section here and I'll add it to my list. Bye Shalloners, bye Believers, bye Baldwiners, bye Cheerios.